DramaCityProductions.com.
You are plugged in for the Podcast Wrestling Society, where you can get dynamic weekly pro wrestling and MMA-related content. Give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PODWRES Society so that you can stay in the know.
Faith is the place, and the sky's the limit.
And if you like what you hear, give us a 5-star review and hit that subscribe button.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Now, your host, he is the one and only Troy Adams.
Well, let me tell you something, Society Maniacs. I swam to the show tonight doing the backstroke while my co-host was doing the doggy paddle all the way from NorCal, dude. It's the Podcast Wrestling Society, brother. I am your loving leader, benevolent host, and real Midwest monster maniac, Troy Adams. Oh, yeah, and joining me today, he is the Hulk Hogan of my macho man. Dig it! It's Greg. What up, Greg?
What up?
I wanted to do a...
That was almost as brutal as the promo we're going to talk about.
Yeah, almost, but not quite. For all of you out there that are like, what the hell is he talking about? You're going to be saying that later on, too, when I get to the real thing, brother. Because...
This is real.
Oh, it was. 1995 was weird. And, you know, I don't know if it's because... I mean, we talk a lot of crap today, you know... with you know, all the justification in the world about promos seem too scripted and whatever else, and real people wouldn't say that. Yeah, well, real people really did say some of the crap that Hogan and Macho Man said back in 95, and Sting. So keep this in mind going forward with all of these promos. Some weird crap, Greg.
Weird doesn't begin to describe it.
Nope. It's like you said, this is real.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff, man. But you know, we will get into that later. We actually have some news, bro, to cover to start the show here. But before we get into all of that, instead of taking time aside to you know, we always cut out time to, you know, do a little promo for different things throughout the show, but I figured we'll do something new here, Greg, and we'll just blow through everything right at the beginning of the show here while I'm playing the little song underneath our voice. What do you say to that?
I say John Jones would be all in.
What the hell? What? Wait, there are no drugs involved here? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Or am I?
First of all, you said blow. And second of all, the promos we're going to talk about, someone had to be on drugs, so you're wrong. There are drugs involved.
Yeah, and that is very true. But yeah, well, just diving into all this right off the bat, I do want to let you know that you can advertise with the podcast if you go to advertisecast.com/podcast wrestling society. There you can see all of our stats and our outreach and all that, and our, you know, see what the damn podcast is even about. And you can know all about me. Just read the little description there and all of our social media. And we are accepting 10, 15, 30, 60, and 120-second promos or commercials or whatever you have. We'll even do live reads. Me and Greg will pump it out for you, bro. Just go to advertisecast.com/podcast wrestling society. And if you advertise with us, you can have a bigger outreach now because we are available on wrestlingwithwrestling.com. There you can see all these different sections for news and reports, WWE, Impact Wrestling, New Japan and Ring of Honor, indie wrestling here in the States and abroad, and see videos and podcasts of different wrestling here in the States and abroad as well, besides just this great podcast here. So go and check out wrestlingwithwrestling.com. And Greg, have you checked out any of our merch that we've got available out on the net?
Yeah, of course I have.
Yeah, it's some good stuff. We're coming out with new stuff every so often. I'll tell you, some of my favorites that we've come out with recently have been
Naked Median.
Well, that is available. The Naked Median Fan Club President is available if you go to redbubble.com/people/pod rest society, like in our social media handles. If you go to shop.spreadshirt.com/podcast-wrestling-society, got some great stuff there too. The NWO tribute, I should say, logo says PWS on it. There's the PWS 937. A lot of people don't get that. It's actually the Dayton area code. So we have that available for you. The Big Sweaty Men Pal that you and I like to say all the time. And I know you like the one that says PWS Pro. That's kind of a dedication to Ico Pro.
Yeah, that one's glorious.
Glorious. We also have the Wednesday night PWS in the style of the old school Raw logo. We have a UFC tribute logo there. It says PWS, and there's so much more. There's hats, t-shirts, hoodies, different kinds of bags, phone cases, mugs, travel mugs, water bottles, whatever you want. Like I said, redbubble.com/people/pod-rest society or shop.spreadshirt.com/podcast-wrestling-society. And we have officially pimped all of our things, Greg.
Yeah, that was a great show. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Well, we're signing off. See ya. Now, we are still here, whether you like it or not, because we got a lot of stuff to get through, Greg. Yeah. There's some good news.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff, mediocre stuff, bad stuff, in between. But there's
it's
stuff.
All bad. What are you kidding?
Well, might as well start off with, talking about some of the news here on the show. Opening up a fresh Monster that I drink every time we do these shows, because I gotta keep myself energized, and I always call myself the Midwest Monster anyway, so might as well live the gimmick, brother. And no, Monster isn't paying us, but we would gladly accept money from Monster, and it's a delicious drink. I know Greg is on a health kick, but I am not. And plus, working the overnights, I gotta find some way to keep myself energized and awake. All right, Greg. First off, you see that. First of all, this is airing on Wednesday, so we are recording. It's weird. We're recording Friday, but it's airing Wednesday. I know.
Oh, great! You gave away the
trade secrets.
The secrets.
Yeah, trade secrets. I apologize, but for all of you out there that are listening on a Wednesday, tonight's NXT is a special 2-hour-long episode. So that should be good. I haven't seen what any of the card is. I don't know if you've heard about this, Greg. But I will be watching. I haven't kept up with NXT too much, so I'll be watching there. SmackDown ended up beating Raw in the ratings for Christmas week.
Well, it was a better show.
It was, undoubtedly. I mean, Raw didn't suck. I'll say that. I wasn't enthralled by it, but it wasn't bad for a pre-recorded Christmas episode. And I didn't even make a story out of this. They recorded record low ratings, but it's Christmas, so they record record low ratings every Christmas. I wasn't shocked. And I'm sure everybody and their mother read the spoilers. Hell, I gave away the spoilers on the podcast 2 weeks ago. So there you go. That SmackDown ended kind of uniquely, I'll say. I'm excited to see what that.
I was excited about the U.S. title match.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, what are the odds that Rusev wins it on Rusev Day?
I know, on Christmas and on Rusev Day.
Yeah, that means Jesus was born on Rusev Day. That's epic, dude.
That's crazy. He came out and said, "Happy Rusev Day." First words. I mean, that's what my Bible says. I don't know about yours.
No, it is. It is.
Okay. I was gonna say, I'll take a picture of my Bible and send it to you. Sorry, it's an inside joke.
I love Nakamura, but Rusev's just awesome.
He wasn't doing a damn thing with that belt except for being the 100th foreigner to, ironically be Mr. America while holding that title.
Yeah, they haven't beat that to death.
Yeah. Well, if there's one thing WWE loves doing, it's beating dead horses. So There you go. Here's something, because I know how much you love 205 Live, Greg. It's your favorite show that WWE puts on. Right next.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right next to, what is it called? The Kitchen Smackdown or whatever the hell. Hosted by Bo Dallas. Anyway, Murphy will be defending his Cruiserweight title in a fatal 4-way match at the Royal Rumble.
On the pre-show, nonetheless, probably.
Yeah, I know. You know what? Some of the stuff that they put on the regular show, it's like, you can swap some of this stuff. Like, I think the Cruiserweight title, like, some of those matches are actually good with Buddy Murphy. Like, put it on the regular show. But nope, that damn purple belt has to be on that pre-show, pal.
It's purple.
God
pre-show.
Dang, it's a girl color. Except when Cena wore it. Then it was a man's color. But anyway. Speaking of which, he's back, I guess. So, there's that.
About damn time.
Like, I don't know. The way it was like, the timing of everything just made me think it's like, break glass in case of emergency. Pull out. I mean, it wasn't.
It works.
Yeah, it does. Well, same thing with, like, God dang it. What do we do about these ratings? More me.
Again, it works.
It does. I'm not saying they're wrong. It's funny. Switching gears here to the UFC. Obviously, we're not going to, since we're recording on Friday and the big event is happening Saturday, right?
Yep.
Jones and Gustafsson, which, man, I got some opinions on that. I'm sure you do too, but we're going to try to keep this one a little shorter, so let's not go over all those opinions. This one, though, Cain Velasquez versus Francis Ngannou will headline February's UFC on ESPN event.
As of now.
What do you think? Think they're going to get bumped?
No, someone always gets hurt.
No, we'll see. That would be a great fight for ESPN. Is that their debut, or are they?
No, their debut's in January. A couple weeks, actually.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I'll keep my eyes out for that. Who's headlining that card?
The fight that was supposed to go at 2:33.
That was what?
Henry Cejudo and TJ Dillashaw.
Another good one. Oh, that's right. I forgot they're fighting for a belt that's not going to exist anymore.
Yeah, I was going to go to that fight, but now they called it off, so I'm going to go to the Royal Rumble instead. So
nice.
I guess I win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like UFC, to an extent, but even if I was like a big fan of it, I'd still choose wrestling over it because it's like, I don't know, like with wrestling being predetermined, you're going to get a big show. With UFC, like the fight you've been anticipating can be over in like 5 seconds. So you never knew. Tanahashi has renewed his New Japan deal, so he ain't going anywhere. Speaking of renewing...
Didn't expect him to?
No. You and I were talking about this earlier. I don't think he speaks much English, and he's like a god over in Japan, so why? I'm sure New Japan is like, that's been like their guy for over about a decade now. It's like he's like the Cena of Japan. So it's like I'm sure they're, backing up a truck of money to his house. It was like, we'll give you whatever. Don't leave us, please.
Yeah.
Here's a big re-signing, Greg. Hold on to your pants for this one. Ring of Honor has re-signed the Beer City Bruiser.
Oh, yay.
I was going to say, is there crickets?
How does that name not get signed with HCW?
I don't know. I bet Vince is trying to get him as we speak. Like, God dang, the Beer City Bruiser. I bet he's fat and sweaty. He's got the beer sweats. Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Shane Taylor has signed an exclusive contract with Ring of Honor. Not super familiar with Shane Taylor. So
yeah, that guy.
Here's a big one, Greg. Impact Wrestling announced a TV deal with the Pursuit Channel. For all of you that don't know.
Yeah, that channel.
For those of you that don't know.
Oh, you sure are going over the crap tonight.
Yeah, well, it happens. It is a hunting channel, by the way. And apparently Anthem owns a large minority stock in that channel, whatever that means. So
large minority, isn't that like
an oxymoron? Yeah, I assume they're like the biggest of the minorities that own the channel. So I don't know, but it's a freaking hunting channel. Does this mean? Well, that's right. I forgot Eric Young is in WWE. That sucks. If Eric Young was still with him, he might get his show back.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So, and they're still going to be on from like 10 to midnight because that's an ideal time slot.
Yeah, it's going to be more hardcore, edgier, and sexier according to Don Callis. So it's probably good they're on at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, because if there's one thing we need more of on the Pursuit channel, it's edgier, sexier, more hardcore content.
What is it, a naked deer?
The hell. All them white folk that fall asleep watching that channel will wake up and be like, the hell is this?
I got naked man in tights on my picture tube.
From one weird thing to another. Here's something, because you're going to WrestleMania. Here's something for you. Stardom's American Dream in the Big Apple will be held on WrestleMania week, April 5th. It will be at the NYC Arena in Queens.
Well, then I ain't going.
Oh, come on. You love Queens.
Oh, yeah. I only like the common parts of Queens.
Well, if there's one thing Queens has a lot of, it's common parts. Shout out to anyone
who gets that.
Shout out to all of our New York listeners. Oh, man. But yeah, so Stardom's pretty good. I know you guys like Shimmer, but Stardom is pretty good if you like good female wrestling. So there's an option for you guys. And speaking of Japanese promotions in America, tickets for New Japan's New Beginning USA show on January 30th in Los Angeles and February 1st in Charlotte sold out very shortly after tickets were put up on sale a week ago.
Oh, how many did they sell? 2,000 or 3,000?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think it's in the Pyramid in L.A. I don't know how many that holds.
The hell is that? Now, why is this show on a Wednesday?
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, January 30th in L.A. and February 1st in Charlotte. So I'm not exactly sure. Let's see, New Beginning 2018. I don't know what venues that's going to be in here. I'm looking. 2019. Oh, I'm sorry, the LA Globe Theater. Last time it was in like something called the Pyramid, and it's a venue shaped like a freaking pyramid. But I don't know what the Globe Theater is. I don't know how many people that holds. And in Charlotte, they're going to be in the Grady Cole Center.
Cole?
Grady Cole, baby.
Actually, I was thinking about the good Cole, Michael Cole.
Oh yeah, well gosh, the Grady Cole Center actually holds 4,000 people at capacity. So.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, I mean that's still. I mean, yeah, for some,
it's really not.
Okay,
if you've been to these venues, 4,000 is not a lot at all.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're thinking about how often do they actually freaking come to America, so.
Oh yeah, and that also is why they sold it quickly.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the capacity for the Globe Theater.
It's probably where the Golden Globes are. So
I want to see 15.
I would say 1,000.
I'm seeing I believe 1,500. So
that was close.
Close enough. Close. Yeah. So, I mean, whatever. Either way, good for them. It's not WWE. You can't. The thing is, you can't compare this to WWE numbers. That's what I try to tell everybody. They're not competing with WWE. They're not close to WWE. They're a Japanese promotion. So either way, for them, not bad. But yeah, so that's all I got in the way of news. You got anything else?
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about Naked Meeting's birthday.
God dang it! Is that a thing? Did he have a birthday recently?
Yeah.
Mazel tov. I hope he got.
Mazel tov.
I hope he got. I hope he got snipped for it. I don't know.
Holy crap!
I don't know. What do you get the naked man who has everything for his birthday, Greg?
What do you need to get him? He doesn't need to wear anything. Socks?
A new fanny pack? Preferably one with our logo on it.
See, now you're thinking. There you go.
Yeah, we'll send him that. He'll be like, the hell is this?
Did want to mention, I think they signed Pat McAfee to a long-term deal.
They did,
so
yeah.
We'll be seeing him a lot more.
for what that's worth for anybody who watches them damn pre-shows. I do not. So
belt on the pre-show, pal. You gotta watch it.
Gotta watch that damn pre-show, even though we told you it doesn't matter. Whatever. So anyway, there's that. Anything else?
No, move on. We're done. Bye.
Yeah. Okay. We're done. Bye. Well, we still got to review a couple shows. So.
Oh God, yeah, that's what I was trying to avoid. But okay, we'll do it.
Hold on to your butts. We're gonna take a quick break.
Don't pull the trigger on yourself.
Oh God, what the hell? You had
it's
to go
that
there.
bad. Well,
no,
Slimebury's that bad.
I was gonna say this. In Your House was
weird.
weird.
House is decent, but Slimebury is.
Slimebury was okay. I don't know.
Brutal.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it more when we get back. Anyway,
negative 17 stars.
Oh, eat me. We'll be right back. Let you know about other great podcasts here on the Drama City Productions Podcast Network. When we come back, it's In Your House. We're in your house. Right after this.
DramaCityProductions.com.
Small Town Mentality Podcast with your host, Ben. A podcast about nothing and everything. A podcast where we get together with friends, drink beer, and see where the conversation takes us. We don't edit. We don't care what people say. It's small town people with a small town mentality. It gets offensive at times, lots of swearing, and a whole lot of not caring. Available everywhere you get podcasts. You can find us on Twitter at STMPod, on Instagram at STMPodcast, and on Facebook at Small Town Mentality Pod. We'll see you there.
DramaCityProductions.com.
Hey, it's Chris from the Stackcast. Join myself, Christian, and Missy as we bring you all the gaming news you need to know. With our penchant for sarcasm, we're throwing out all the social justice bullshit and are giving you 100% uncensored gaming news and opinion. So follow us down the rabbit hole that is our minds, and may God have mercy on your ears.
All right, we are back, and we are here to discuss, well, we'll start with WWF this week. In Your House 1 from the...
No subtitle.
Yeah, it's from the... I'm going to try really hard with this. Onondaga County War Memorial in Syracuse, New York.
I think ECW taped a show there the night before.
I wouldn't doubt it. The attendance was at 7,000 exactly.
Never mind.
Yeah. Well, they tarped off like 3/4 of the arena for ECW, so it's all good.
Wait, they could afford tarps?
Maybe. Well, Paul Heyman knew a guy who knew a guy. All right.
Who robbed a guy?
Wow. That's all hearsay. Okay, rumor and innuendo. Either way.
It's true.
The odd thing about these two shows we're talking about, the attendance for both, 7,000 exactly. It's crazy and ironic.
Yeah, it's crazy. 7,000 people want to watch that garbage.
I don't know. Maybe it's all the garbage we've been watching this year so far. I didn't hate either one of these events. I didn't love them, but I didn't hate them.
I'll tell you, you know what's funny real quick? Looking back at it, though, I remember watching these when I was in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would, be on the edge of my seat for it, you know?
Yeah, as a kid.
I'm not joking. I would, literally be, anticipating this is the greatest thing that's going to happen all month.
Yeah.
And I didn't crap on it either. I legitimately enjoyed it. Looking back, I'm like, God, that was bad.
Yeah, as a kid, I used to rent these videotapes from Blockbuster all the time. The majority of them were from this era, and because I remember a lot of King Mabel, unfortunately, as a child, and God, not so great looking back. But yeah, as a kid, I grew up on this stuff because I always rented the Coliseum home videos and stuff. I didn't get so much into WCW because it wasn't targeted for kids per se. But we'll get into some of that goofy crap here in a moment. Let's start with this. On May 14th, 1995, in the opening video package...
Mother's Day, by the way.
It was, yes, and they mentioned that 5,000 times during this show.
That's why I said it.
Yeah. Well, in the opening video package, Todd Bettenkill says, tonight, about 1,000 times. Says, tonight, you'll see this guy versus that guy. And we'll also see this guy versus that guy tonight. And I'm like, God dang it, we get it, tonight.
When?
Yeah. They also pushed that a winner will get a country club home in Orlando, Florida, which you and I talked about a little bit last week.
Again, I think that's somewhat of an oxymoron. Anyways.
Wow. Well, you pointed out a couple of the flaws with this last week. Well, the flaw with it to begin with was this was a home given away in Orlando, Florida during hurricane season. So there's that. The second thing is, as of today, that home has been foreclosed upon.
Yeah.
So there's that. Just
real quick too, the winners were from Vegas, so they moved from like sunny, hot Vegas to probably hot Orlando, but like again, hurricane season.
Well, I gotta ask.
From landlocked, no tsunami could touch them, to being prime target number 1. So there you go.
Well, if I would have, if they gave me a home, I mean, unless I was like out of work and it's like, okay, cool,
yeah.
whatever.
I'm not crapping on that. I would have took it too. It's just the circumstances in which they came. From Vegas.
But no, I was thinking it's like if I was living like across the country and they gave me a home in Florida, I'd be like, it's gonna be my vacation home. And like, but the thing is, like, you still got to pay taxes on that piece of crap. Like. Well, I don't know. I guess Florida has really good taxes because all the retirees go down there and everything. So I don't know. But either way, we're getting too much into the weeds with this. Vince McMahon is joined by Doc Hendrix on commentary. I've never heard Doc Hendrix do commentary before, so this was a change. He was actually pretty good. He wasn't like...
He was not bad. I didn't hate him.
Yeah, he was not exceptional, but he was pretty good. Especially after hearing... I mean, Lawler's fine, but after hearing him squawk for the past 2 pay-per-views, it was a nice change. But he was in full heel mode here against the corny babyface of Vince McMahon. They opened the show with Hakushi versus Bret Hart. Hakushi was, of course, joined by Shinja, whose face was painted white for some reason, which I guess is a literal representation of whitewashing in Hollywood. I'm going to go with that.
Move on. That's a hard subject right now. Just move on, please.
They did to Shinja what Hollywood did to Ghost in the Shell. But anyway.
Oh, my God.
I never noticed this before because, I mean, not like I paid a whole lot of attention to Hakushi, but you could definitely tell that his theme song was created for The Undertaker. Like, if none of you have heard the story about that, go check it out. Throw it in your Google machine. I guess they wrote like a violin version of The Undertaker's theme, and they were like, it's not going to work, but we'll save it. And then they gave it to Hakushi. So, but it worked. Bret, in a backstage interview, dedicates the match to his mother and tells Jerry Lawler that he's next. Because, yes, Bret will be wrestling twice tonight. I see an old couple with their grandkid in the front row, a fat guy wearing a Gold's Gym t-shirt, which... I'm going to talk about oxymorons, and 2 middle-aged guys with hair halfway down their backs wearing ECW merchandise.
Wow, the original Young Bucks thing.
Wow, you're not wrong. I've got to point this out because I do in every match.
Stick it to the man by wearing the opposite.
Yeah, we got to wear the ECW shirts in front of the hard cam. But yeah, that tells you about, how invested I was in this when I, am noticing who's all in the crowd. But I got to point this out because I do every time he's refereeing a match. Tim White was a referee, and I don't believe that was wise.
That's not wise?
That's not wise, Mr. White. Throw that in your Google machine if you don't get it. Hakushi goes...
Oh, don't. I mean, you don't want to watch suicide. Don't promote suicide, please.
That's not real suicide. It was fake haha suicide, because if there's one thing that's funny, it's trying to kill yourself, right?
Well, Josh Matthews makes it funny.
He does. He was the best part of the whole thing. Like, he'd go to blow his brains out. Mr. White, that's not wise. Like, who says that? The guy's trying to electrocute himself.
Your substitute teacher? I don't know.
He was like literally trying to hang himself one day, and he's like, Mr. White, I wouldn't do that. That's not wise. Like, what? What the hell? Call 911, you freak. Like,
is there a wise way to kill yourself?
I ask Bill Murray. Like, he tried many different ways in Groundhog. They made a literal version of Groundhog Day. My God.
I gotta go back and watch those now.
Or don't. Well, first thing I took notes on here is Hakushi goes for like a flying shoulder or something, and Brett clearly didn't get the memo because it looks like he was trying to like arm drag him, and they both just kind of like take a bump. It was weird. Hakushi sends Brett off into the ropes and bends over. Brett just stops himself, slowly grabs Hakushi, and then elbows him in the back of the head. They had some awkward exchanges in this match. Brett hits the corner chest first and proves that no one has ever attacked a buckle better. Do you remember how he used to hit the buckles?
I do.
Looked like he was about to go through them. Like, holy crap, he hit him hard. That's what she said. Anyway, Shinja...
I missed that.
Shinja starts to get involved more, distracting the ref and choking Brett at various points. Brett hits a clothesline on Hakushi at one point, and Hakushi backflips onto his stomach. That was crazy. After Shinja trips Brett, Brett hits a suicide dive onto Shinja. I've never seen Brett suicide dive before. Hendricks says, "This is wrestling at its best," and McMahon corrects him, saying, "This is the WWF at its best." Like, God, even back then, don't call it wrestling, pal, even though our name is the World Wrestling Federation. Shinja gets involved again. Hart punches him. Then Hakushi hits an Asai moonsault on him, which was a big deal back in '95 in WWF. Brett barely beats the count and ends up pinning Hakushi with a victory roll, because them Hart boys sure love victory rolls. Then freaking tons of pyro goes off when he wins the match, and the crowd loses their effing minds.
Yeah, it goes off like 2 seconds after the 3 count.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, he just won the open. Like, what was it in '95? Everybody that won their opening match, tons of pyro. I don't get it. I guess that, quote, gets him into the event? I don't know. But Brett then limped to the back, selling his right leg. I said it was a pretty...
Remember, he supposedly twists it hopping off the apron.
Yeah. Yeah, so he was...
What I loved about it, too, is, like, it wasn't even on camera. Doc Hendricks is like, "Oh, my God, I think he twisted his knee. I think he twisted his knee." And we didn't see it because the camera's in the crowd.
Yeah. The camera work back then was not the best, especially in WCW. Holy crap, did those cameramen and the director need to get fired. Like, I never noticed it, like you were talking about. You don't notice certain things till you look back. WCW's director blew butt. Like, he sucked, especially back in the mid-'90s. He was awful. But anyway, pretty decent opener. I gave it 2 Uncle Daves. Nothing spectacular, but it was the opening freaking match, so they wrestled their spot. Then we go to the best mullet in the business, Todd Pettengill. He's pimping...
Hell yes!
Oh, yeah.
I want to dedicate a whole segment to that mullet.
Oh, we'll get there. It's because I don't know. I don't know. Like, every time I see him, that mullet gets more and more epic. Like, it's fuller, and he slicks it back, and he puts some like product in it. Like, you can tell he spends a lot of time like getting that mullet, TV ready. I've never seen. I'm like, what the hell is it with 1995 and mullets, man?
Because it's epic. Just accept it.
I only had like one member of my family that had a mullet that I can remember, maybe 2, and
You sure you're white?
Yeah. Well, I mean, 2 is the bare minimum, all right?
Yeah.
But either way, he was pimping the 1-900 number, where callers can talk about, they can talk to Alundra Blaze and Stan Lane of the Midnight Express. That one I was like, what? I mean, they don't mention anything about the Midnight Express or the Fabulous Ones, but it is Stan Lane, short hair, in a suit. Okay.
Yep.
On WWF pay-per-view, Jerry Lawler comes in and says that they need to get his match with Brett going now while Brett's hurt. He leaves, and Todd sends it to Stephanie Wyant, who's walking through the In Your House set, walking awkwardly around the security officers who are guarding the contest entries. She shows a video of all of the cops guarding an armored vehicle carrying all of the entries. You heard me right. An armored vehicle carrying the entries for WWF's contest here.
Well, they had like armed guards around all night too.
Yeah. Like this was, the winner gets like the crown jewels or something. Like, good Lord, they went all out with this crap. Made it seem special. She's then interrupted by Jeff Jarrett's honky music. Vince McMahon then talks to the 1-2-3 Kid on the phone. And the quality sucks. Like, you can barely...
I think he's legit hurt here, too.
Well, all I could get out of it was that Kid is injured. His phone is awful. And that he's coming back to go after Double J. Razor is then interviewed backstage, and he says that Jarrett and Rhodey, to them, it's personal now with them. And then he tells 1-2-3 Kid to get his neck well, because apparently he injured his neck. And then he wishes Mama Ramon a happy Mother's Day. This is a theme that will continue through the whole
because this is, of
show.
Course, on Mother's Day.
Yes. This is a freaking theme of the event. They should have just called this In Your House Mother's Day, because that's what it felt like. And a really depressing promo happens later. We'll get to. But yeah, it's Jeff Jarrett and the Roadie versus Razor Ramon in a handicap match. So I could not give a damn less about these matches. I don't know why I hate them so bad, but I do.
I'm pretty sure they're over, so.
Yeah, I hope so. I haven't looked ahead.
I met with the crowd. They're massive over.
Wow. When Razor comes out, a kid nearly hops the rail just to touch him. That was funny. Jarrett and Rhodey are wearing
Yeah, that's telling, by the way.
Yeah, he was over like Rover, man. Too bad he couldn't keep himself clean, because he could have went far. And I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm being for real here. Jarrett and Rhodey were wearing matching, ugly black and white attires. And that's saying something when I say that Jarrett's attire is extra ugly tonight. Doc Hendricks tells Vince, "Hey, you don't make the rules around here," at one point in the match. Think about the irony of that for a second. Just think. The referee I put this in the notes, the referee has one sweet mullet. I think it was, who's the blonde one?
Mike Chioda?
No, there was another one. I can't think of the name. I don't know. You'd know him if you saw him. Razor is in control until Rhodey gets involved, and then it's a fair fight. Razor beats him up, and when Rhodey is tagged in, he's in control the whole time and gyrates his hips. That is creepy. Jarrett, who is the champion, looks like... Oh, I don't know. Jarrett, who is the champion, looks like a complete goof that can't do a damn thing. Rhodey, who has allegedly never had a match, and especially here in the WWF until now, looks like the more competent worker. What's going on here? Seriously, go back and watch this match. Jarrett can't do screw all, but freaking Rhodey is when he comes in, he's on top the whole time. I have yet to see Jarrett hit that running leg choke thing on the middle rope. Every time he goes for it, somebody moves and he crotches himself. There's some drunk guy in the front, right in front of Hard Cam, that keeps turning around and trying to hype the crowd, like every drunk guy at every sporting event does.
Yeah, we have one of those in our section at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, I don't. Well, there were. Which one? There were a ton of drunkies there.
The guy that said, Ronda's great now because he likes her. It's like, oh, I'm.
Oh, he's the one.
I'm impressed. Yeah, I'm impressed. So,
yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, right. They show Razor has a stripe of tape on his boot that says "Kid," like Waltman died. After a while, Razor finally gets the upper hand and goes off on both men, but Jarrett goes for the figure 4, gets shoved off, and nails Rhodey off the apron. Razor powers Jarrett up and hits what looks like he's legit trying not to get a Razor's Edge, but he gets it anyway. It looks like Jarrett's legitimately trying to fight him on this one. But Razor gets the win. Rhodey gets in, and Razor goes for the Razor's Edge. Jarrett clips his knee and stops him, and then locks in the figure 4 while the Rhodey dances. Finally, he's saved by Aldo Montoya. I know, just brace yourself. But he gets in, he beats up the Rhodey, and then Jarrett attacks him, and Montoya gets double-teamed. Next, Savio Vega rushes in, wearing street clothes.
You want to talk about a who's who of run-ins?
I know. Oh, my gosh. But he runs in wearing street clothes, beats him up. Commentary says they have no idea who he is because, keep in mind, until now he's been Quang under a mask. All the geeks hit the ring to pull him off, but Vega is running wild. Finally, the cops escort him out. My conclusion, I wrote, can I never see these guys wrestle again? And why does Razor have so many friends? 2 Uncle Daves. I might have been overrating it, but that's what I gave it.
That was Mike Chioda, by the way.
Oh, well, okay. Well, either way, he had an epic mullet. They show a commercial for the King of the Ring, and we know that one's going to be amazing, because we should already know where that one's going.
How liberal can you be with that word?
There's an even better commercial yet to come. We'll get to it. Jerry Lawler is arguing with Jack Tunney backstage, demanding that his match happen right now. He says...
Yes, the Jack Tunney.
Yes, who remembers him? But Lawler says, my mother is waiting! Oh, man. Keep waiting, Mama Lawler. A pretty damn good promo is shown, hyping Sid. They show him attacking a ton of people, and Shawn Michaels doing a stretcher job for him on Raw. They made him look like a freaking monster, man. But next, commentary sends it to some dude named Barry Didinsky in the crowd. He's pimping the new Bret Hart t-shirt. He says it comes in, quote, one size fits all, somewhere around an extra large. You know, because that's the most popular size.
Oh, man.
By
the way, he was just their salesman, so that's literally all he did.
So he was the poor man's Don West. Got it.
Yeah.
He shows all the people in the crowd wearing the shirt, and all of them have the look.
Bro.
Especially the first guy he shows has like a peach fuzz mustache, big-ass glasses, and a blonde mullet. So... basically, he looks like the artist, the police artist sketch that they show on every newscast. Man, I just buried somebody.
Keep your kid away from this guy.
He's got the look, bro. Oh, anyway, sorry if that guy is listening, but dude, wouldn't that be awesome if that guy really is listening?
Hell yeah, it would.
How ironic. Up next. Oh,
if
man.
you own that Bret Hart shirt back in 1995 and we're at it in your house, tweet us immediately.
I'm waiting. Up next, we get the match of the night. It's Mabel versus Adam Bomb in a King of the Ring qualifying match.
Yes.
Mabel is accompanied to the ring by Mo. When Adam Bomb is coming out, Vince says that the Bomb Squad is going to be coming out in droves. Because apparently that was Bomb's fan club.
Did he? I forget. Did he do the thing where he handed out the little toy missiles to kids?
He did, yes. And and Vince laughed his ass off, and he popped huge for that. Like, he thought it was great. Of course he did. Anyway.
Think of the marketing. Toy missiles.
Yeah.
Millions.
Yeah, that'd be great. But I forgot that Adam Bomb used to do this. He gets in the ring and does this kaboom motion, and then this pyro just explodes above his head or like in the ring. Scares the crap out of Mo and Mabel. They scatter. It was great. But Mo...
Yeah, well, scatter as much as Mabel can.
Yeah. Well, he backed up a couple feet, so there you go. Mo, who looks like CeeLo Green, is talking junk to Adam Bomb, and then just gets clocked. Mabel then beats Adam Bomb down. They finally start the match, and Mabel splashes him in the corner, tries and misses on the other side. Bomb punches him and clotheslines him out of the ring before diving out on top of him. That was actually pretty impressive. He threw him into the ring and hits a slingshot clothesline, which was also impressive. But Mabel is like way too far away, so he just barely catches him with his fist. He nails a top rope clothesline, but Mabel kicks out at 1. This was when they were trying to make Mabel a monster for whatever reason. Mabel throws him into the corner and sort of hits a wheel kick, but he basically just like falls onto his back and puts his foot in the air. It was bad. Then catches Adam Bomb with in a crossbody attempt, and he hits the world's strongest slam, pins him. That was the whole match. Conclusion, I said...
I think your description of the match was longer than the match itself.
Probably. But my conclusion was, I literally wrote, what the hell was this? Dud.
It was the King of the Ring qualifier.
Yeah. They had to gotta make Mabel look strong, pal. And then we go to the back.
Wasn't this Danny Davis's last referee gig?
I don't know. I didn't notice who the ref was because they didn't I
think it was Danny Davis.
Huh. Well, either way. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Freaking Mabel, dude. Just, what the hell? Like, not to speak ill of the dead, but why him? I don't know.
Because he was huge.
Yeah, he's big and sweaty. Poor Adam Bomb, man. Brian Clark just couldn't cut a break. He's going to go on to be Wrath. Razor Ramon is backstage with Todd Pettengill and says, say hello to Savio Vega, one of the biggest superstars from the Caribbean. I'm like, is he?
Again, man, we're just hearing words being used so liberally.
Yeah, right. Vega can barely be understood through his thick accent, but he affirms his friendship with Razor. I
would hope he went out there and saved his ass.
Yeah. I don't know. Wasn't he Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
And Razor was supposed to be Cuban. Like, are they just like, they're like, whatever, they're all from the same area.
What the hell?
Close enough. Like, Cuba and Puerto Rico are not the same country. Like, I don't know. Whatever. While the Smoking Guns are doing their entrance, Jerry Lawler comes to the ring and gets told by security that he cannot have his match yet, and he's told to get to the back. Bret Hart is shown icing his knee in the backstage area. So yes, spoiler, we're going to see the Smoking Guns. They are taking on...
Jobber entrance, by the way.
Yeah, basically. They come to the ring, and then they are taking on the team of Owen Hart and Yokozuna. They're accompanied by Jim Cornette and Mr. Fuji. It's for the WWF tag titles. A guy is shown
Before we start...
Uh-huh.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, a guy is shown in the crowd, has absolutely zero emotion. He looks bored as hell, and he has one thick freaking unibrow. He looks like, and I'm not saying this to be insulting, but he seriously looks like if you shaved Vince Russo's head, that's this guy. And it might have been, I don't know.
That's not insulting.
I don't know. But this guy looked bored as hell, and the camera was like fixated on him. I'm like, why? Move the camera. But what were you saying?
Before we even start, we got to talk about of course, the epic mullets on the Smoking Guns.
Oh, yeah. Well, I actually wrote, I said, with the referee, Owen, Bart, and Billy Gunn, there are a total of 4 mullets in this match.
Hell yes! I forgot about Owen having one.
Owens didn't look too bad because he had kind of longer bangs, but he did, in fact, have a mullet. The rest of them just looked super white. Yokozuna grabs the Japanese flag and waves it to get heat, because that was back when Americans hated everybody. Shockingly, Yoko starts the match. He doesn't stay in long before tagging in Owen. I know, shocker.
Oh, there's a shocker.
Yeah, and he's already super sweaty. Billy looks like an idiot. Because he gets distracted by...
No!
Because he gets distracted by Mr. Fuji, who is literally just standing at ringside waving the flag. That's it. He's not doing anything, just waving the Japanese flag, which he was doing throughout most of the match. But Billy gets distracted by this. Moron.
And also, not one Japanese guy participating in this match.
Mr. Fuji? Well, I guess he wasn't participating per se. But yeah, you're right. I actually blew Kyle's mind with that when I told him that Yoko was Japanese. I'm like, how did you not know this?
Well, my mind was blown like 1998 when I found out.
Yeah, I know. 'Cause, I mean, looking back now, you're like, yeah, he's clearly Samoan. But, I mean, back then, you're like, yeah, he's Japanese. Just take his word for it. Whatever. But anyway, while outside, Billy dodges Yoko, who runs into the post. The Guns do well for a while before Bart goes flying outside of the ring and gets leg dropped by Yoko. Cornette gets nailed off the apron and takes a big old bump. Mother effer. And then Owen pins Bart for the win. Conclusion. Again, Yoko barely did a damn thing, and he looked gassed after just walking to the ring. 1.5 Uncle Dave's. Ugh.
Yeah, that match was pretty rough.
Yeah, it was something. Well, this is where the whole tone... All right, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, it's, as Bruce Prichard would say, the drizzling... We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, well, then that damn bell had to ring. You know what's sad is that is like 3 out of 4 men on that team, are dead. Owen, Yoko, and Mr. Fuji.
Yeah, it's always hard watching these back and realizing that.
Yeah. Cornette is still alive because the damned, fueled by hate, never die.
Well, I mean, when you're an atheist, you have nowhere to go, so you just have to stay on Earth.
I was going to ask, Vader is ginger, so where did he go?
I don't know.
Too soon?
I'm not touching it.
I'm sorry. But yeah, backstage we go with Todd Pettengill interviewing Diesel. My God, this promo brought me down. It starts off like really sad, and then it just gets weird. Because first of all, this is where I wrote, Todd's mullet is thick and rocking hard.
Hell yes, it's like blowing in the wind too.
Yeah.
Bouncing all around.
He's full on business in the front, hardcore party in the back, man. But Diesel starts by telling everybody that his mom died right before Christmas, so this is his first Mother's Day without her. And I'm like, damn, way to bring us down, Big D.
He's got a way about him.
Right? But then he ends it super weird by saying, Sid calls himself the Master. Well, I am the Walrus. Cuckoo Choo. Like, what the? Okay. And that was the end. Way to go, Big Sexy.
Yep. Always leave him wanting more.
Well, right after we get to get through that weird ass thing, Jerry Lawler is in the ring with some hot chick saying that it's his mother. She's clearly younger than he is. She says that it would make her...
Oh, it could just be some really good surgery. Don't assume.
Oh, yeah. All right. She says that it would make her proud if Lawler beat Brett tonight. Then she says that she wants to challenge Helen Hart to a match. Lawler asks if she's there, if she's even there tonight. And then King says, if you see a pile of wrinkled flesh and in one of these seats, that's probably Helen Hart. So messed up. But
yeah. He said worse though.
Oh well, yeah. He is Jerry freaking Lawler. But the hot chick then kisses Jerry on the cheek and he says, "Watch what I do to Bret Hart." And then go back to gorilla position where Bret is talking with Todd Pettengill and he shows that his knee is perfectly fine and he said, "It's not April Fool's Day, but it'll have to do." And apparently he was just selling the knee the whole time, and he's fine. So Jerry Lawler freaks out. And when Bret comes out, Lawler runs for his damn life. But Bret gets a hold of him, and he beats the hell out of him. Just like beats him like he owes him money. Doc Hendricks said, "I guess all that acting from Lonesome Dove paid off." Does anybody remember Lonesome Dove?
Plug.
Yeah. Was he still doing that show at that time?
Sure.
I don't know. I never watched the thing because I'm not that white. But I guess that was one of the things when he went to WCW. I guess he was like, "Well, I can be an actor on the side, whatever." It's like, not so much.
Guy can dream, can he?
Yeah. Oh, he dreamed all right. I mean, read his book. Sorry. Anyway, Lawler uses his finishing move as a cutoff because Bret whips him into the ropes and bends over like he's going to back body drop him, and then Lawler just catches him in a pile driver. Well, Bret stands right up, starts beating the crap out of him again. I'm like, what the hell? Bret no-sold the pile driver. And then Bret drags Lawler's eyes across the ropes, and then Lawler thumbs him in the eye. Why the hell should I boo Lawler for that after Bret just raked his eyes?
Because he's a heel, whatever.
Yeah, but he didn't come out of a box, so he can't be that over. But then Shinja comes out. The second sighting of him tonight, because we need more Shinja. But
I don't think those words have ever been uttered on this planet.
Nope. Earl Hebner takes a bump through the ropes, and he gets his foot caught in the ropes. So he's just hanging there by one foot. Hakushi then runs in, and he literally jumps onto Bret Hart. Hakushi goes up to the top again while Lawler holds Bret, and he hits 2 flying headbutts in a row. Shinja finally helps Hebner get in, and then Lawler does a jackknife cover and gets the 3 count. The hot chick cheers for him wildly at ringside. Then Hakushi comes back and clotheslines Bret. Bret ducks, or excuse me, he goes to clothesline Bret. Bret ducks, and Hakushi takes out Lawler. Bret then takes out Hakushi, and then Shinja. So Bret gets his heat, well, not heat back, but yeah, his momentum back in the end. My conclusion, the interference, the fact that Lawler looks useless, and the no-selling of the 2 pile drivers, because, Bret hit a pile driver earlier, and Lawler basically no-sold it. Just made me really shake my head in this match. I gave it 1 1/4 Uncle Dave. This was not good. Gosh. And I love Bret. It's just, if I remember correctly, this feud goes on for a while in 95, and I hated all of it. I hated this feud. I don't know about you.
I actually don't remember how I felt about it back in the day.
Like, the actual feud itself, like, the mic work and the promos were fine. The matches just were not all, like, most of them were not good. It was a bunch of Lawler, like, talking crap. They get in the ring. He runs like a scared little you-know-what, and Bret beats his ass. That was how all of their matches went. I don't know. Oh, the camera zoomed in really close on Sid's face backstage while he's cutting a promo. And he's cutting it, like, under his breath like this. And he's very, very sweaty. Big and sweaty. And he's breathing hard. Must have been watching Cops. Anyway, here's a moment we've all been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. Todd Pettengill and Stephanie Wyant are in front of the entrance set, which is a house. And they're showing videos of the house that they're giving away. It's on a golf course. I know it's a country club home on a golf course in Orlando. It shocked me too. But anyway, they agree that they need to mix up the entrance, which it's a giant vat pool thing full of like letters. It's weird. And they agree that, we need to mix it up. So how do we do that? Oh, we need rakes. Because that's practical. So
man,
they're like, well, where do you keep the rakes? Oh, they're in the garage. So Pettengill goes and runs to the backstage through what looks like a garage. Then he brings out rakes, and he gives one to Stephanie, and they kind of stir them up, but they basically just like half-heartedly touch the letters with the rakes. They didn't really mix anything up. Todd then lifts up Stephanie into the vat, and she pulls out an envelope, and Todd hands it to 2 fairly weird-looking, curly-haired people with thick-ass glasses. The safe bet was that they were lawyers. Todd picks up...
Or jobbers.
Yeah. Todd picks up the phone, and Stephanie says, "This is so exciting." No, Stephanie, it isn't. Todd gets the operator on the first call, and Vince laughs his ass off.
Already a failure, pal.
Ha ha, good crap. Live TV. Todd then finally gets a guy on the line, and they can hear his family going nuts in the background. A woman keeps screaming, and the guy says, "This is a joke. It's a joke." Finally, they blow off a ton of pyro. Because back in 95, WWE loved wasting pyro.
Yep. Now they can't even get any to save their life.
Yep. We're lucky if we get it at the big shows. This was just in your house. But now we go to the main event. It was Diesel defending the WWF Heavyweight title against Sid, just Sid, with Ted DiBiase. This match actually didn't suck. After you and I did that watch-along for their Powerbomb match, I was like, man, this is going to blow. But it didn't. So there's that. I noticed that Sid was wearing red trunks, which he didn't do that. He didn't do that a whole lot in this era.
He wore them in WCW all the time.
Oh, really? I thought he just wore the black.
Nope. And when he was Sid Justice, he wore blue.
I remember that one because he took on he wore them at WrestleMania. Was that 8?
Yeah.
Against Hogan. Yeah. That masterpiece. Anyway,
well, if we're gonna start talking about this match, we need to acknowledge the mullets.
Well, Diesel's mullet has grown out by this point, so he has actual like just regular hair at this point. Sid has always had a mullet.
Sid rocking the hardest mullet.
Oh yeah, he's got the big old
hardest
curly
Arkansas mullet you've ever seen in your life.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's a big curly blonde mullet. Oh man, it was like textbook mullet. And from Arkansas, man, that makes it better. I noticed Diesel's pyro goes off about 10 seconds after he does his damn pose, so we're just sitting there waiting. And I made mention of this again. Tim White is a referee for this one.
Build anticipation for the pyro, dude.
Yeah, build anticipation for it. Well, Tim White tried to blow himself up with it, but it wasn't wise and it didn't work. But Sid jumps onto the apron like Brock Lesnar. That was surprising. I've never seen him do that before. But
yeah, again, that's something he used to do a lot. So.
Well, that shows how much I watched Sid matches. Diesel starts off with 2 flying clotheslines in the corner. Nash used to be able to move pretty damn well before all them knee surgeries. I will say, freaking Diesel, man. It's like he downed a couple of espressos before going into this match. Did you hook him up, Greg?
No comment.
Diesel beats the tar out of Sid for a while. He even hits a flying clothesline off the ropes and gets a 1 count. I was like, what the hell, Nash?
The whole 1?
Yeah, 1 count. Yeah. But Sid nearly does the Randy Orton-style punt to Diesel on the outside of the ring, but instead of like the toe of his boot, he hits him with like the bottom of it. But he sets up just like the punt kick. Sid's offense is super slow and methodical. I suppose that makes him a good heel contrast to babyface Diesel's faster-paced offense. I will say Sid has one hell of a leg drop because he jumps about 5 feet in the frickin' air for it. When Sid is in control, the match gets super slow and boring. Sid gets Diesel up for a perfect powerbomb. I out loud yelled, "Holy S!" Like, I was at work and alone, so, like, but my reaction was, holy crap, that was great. But Sid takes, like, forever to taunt, and he gets a 2 count. But Diesel nails a jackknife powerbomb and gets a 2 count before... he gets a 2 count because Tatanka runs in and jumps him, and he gets Sid disqualified. DiBiase then gets in and stomps away at Diesel as well. Sid then signals for the powerbomb before getting backdropped by Diesel, and then Bam Bam Bigelow runs in to fight off the $1 Million Corporation. And you told me the backstory about this because I was super confused. Like, they kicked him out of the $1 Million Corporation?
Yeah, for losing to LT.
Well, I mean, that is pretty embarrassing. So he was a good guy for once?
Yeah. I think he was all the way up until he left.
Yeah, I forget about them days. But
well, yeah. I mean, quick thing. To make him a face when he came out, he didn't wear like the leather jacket anymore. He had like some cartoony flames that were like football shoulder pad spikes.
I remember that, yeah. It was like a big old collar, yeah. Oh, that was epic, man. Because if there's one thing that makes a biker look more intimidating is pajamas with flames on them and that giant flame collar.
You sound sarcastic when you say that.
Yeah. Diesel celebrates with Bam Bam, and more damn pyro goes off.
Yeah.
Conclusion, this was way better than I thought it would be. Diesel had his working boots on for this one. I gave it 2.5 Uncle Dave's. I think this was the highest rated match I gave of the frickin' night. It was...
Wow, it was that bad.
This is what I wanted to talk about. A commercial plays to close the event, and they left it on the network. It was robotic talking blue aliens in a spaceship attempting to destroy the world, saying that humans are terrible. Then they say a reason for not destroying the planet was, quote, one organization with a devoted fan following named the World Wrestling Federation. Then they decide to spare the Earth, and a narrator says, the World Wrestling Federation, You never know. We might be saving the world. What the
hell?
What did I just watch? This was the worst commercial I've ever seen.
Wait, what? It was just that? It was not a promo for a pay-per-view?
No, it was just a promo for them.
Oh, my God. I thought you were going somewhere with this.
No, it went nowhere. I kept waiting for
How do I not remember this?
Go back right after this match ends. They show that promo. It's on the network. Go check it out. Swear to God, I thought I'd taken drugs and couldn't remember. But this was real. It was something. But all right, well, I think it's about time to get into WCW. But before we do, and yeah, I know you're anticipating that, Greg. But before we
Hell
do...
yeah. I rewatched that just for you.
Oh, goody. We're going to take another quick commercial break, or a promo break, I guess, whatever, to let you know about other great podcasts here on the Drama City Productions Podcast Network. When we come back, it's WCW Slamboree 1995, a Legends Reunion. We'll be right back.
Drama City Productions.com.
This is Conversations with Paycheck and Red, a weekly podcast with two good old boys talking about anything and everything that crosses their mind. You may not know what you're going to get with an episode of Paycheck and Red, but you sure know you don't want to miss it. So do what you got to do. Download the app, find the episodes online, and make sure that you don't miss 1 second of Conversations with Paycheck and Red.
Drama City Productions.com.
Game ticket, $50. Hot dog, $8. Team store item, $25.
I told him I can beat him with one hand tied behind my back, with some glasses on, with one eye lens out, with some flip-flops on in the ring.
Having to listen to someone's dumb sports opinions? Worthless. Some people shouldn't talk sports. For everyone else, there's the Unspoken Podcast, available on most podcasting platforms, and on the web at theunspokensportspodcast.weebly.com.
And we are back to dive right into the May pay-per-view for 1995 for WCW. Are you ready for this, Greg?
Roll Tide.
Well, I'm going to have to say hell no to all of that. The Tide can die. I mean, not literally the people in it, but you know.
They're gonna be champions, but whatever.
Oh, they can bite me. I hope they lose to whoever it is they're facing. I don't care who it is, but either way.
In case any of you guys don't know, TJ is a hardcore Michigan fan, so he takes offense to that.
Eat my ass.
All right, I'm done.
Michigan can suck it. Freaking, for all of you that don't know, the Buckeyes, and I know this is recorded before the game, but this is being posted afterwards. The Buckeyes won the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. I'm calling it now.
Well, any Ohio fans, and I know one might be listening, yeah, TJ just jinxed them. So when they lose, go back to this podcast and blame him.
I don't have the jinx ability like you do. You jinxed Roman Reigns I don't know how many times with winning that belt. So,
hey, didn't it pay off at SummerSlam?
Yeah, take 5. Yeah, finally paid off. So actually, good for you.
Come to think of it, if you're right, I may have helped create All Elite Wrestling.
Oh, man. Yeah, right, because you kept the Bucks are going to WWE. They're going. They're definitely going to be there. Oh, wait, they created their own promotion. Which, by the way, I'm going to say is the most unlikely of all of the scenarios I had in my head. And so good for you, Greg. You just, have this ability to make stuff happen out of thin air. Good for you. Well, let's get into this. I don't know.
No, I'd rather not.
Well, again, I didn't hate it. You did. I didn't hate it. It was whatever. Some of it was just god-awful. But it was WCW Slamboree 1995, a Legends Reunion. They were in the Bayfront Arena in St. Petersburg, Florida. It's funny, they had 2 pay-per-views in Florida. They gave away a house in Florida, and then they had a pay-per-view in Florida. 2 separate companies in the same month. That's something. May 21st,
I
1995.
think ECW had an event that week too. They were giving out a bag of Tootsie Rolls.
Wow, they could afford a bag of Tootsie Rolls? Good for them. You and I are both going to hell. Conrad would hear this and curse our names. But anyway. Attendance was 7,000, like I mentioned earlier. First thing to notice about this is Eric Bischoff is standing in for Tony Schiavone, who is recovering from neck surgery. Bobby Heenan is wearing a bolo tie for some reason, because when I think Florida, I think bolo ties.
Don't question it.
No, I'm not. It's Bobby Heenan. He can do whatever the hell he wants, including getting loaded while on commentary at Hog Wild. The Harlem Heat cuts a weird promo about the Nasty Boys over a video of them playing in the background while their music plays over this whole thing. It was a wacky promo. It just, I don't know. WCW promos in 95 were just odd. But yeah, we go to the first match of the night. It is for the WCW Tag Team titles. It is Harlem Heat with Sister Sherri defending against the Nasty Boys again. Seems to be a theme.
I think I remember it was only SAGs, wasn't it?
Well, we'll get to that. Here, the curtain that is supposed to open for them, because they have something that pulls the curtain apart in the center. Well, the curtain's stuck together. Something was holding it together. So Jerry Sags comes out and
oh man, you want to talk about omens?
Right. Well, Jerry Sags has to come out and just rip the curtains apart himself just to get through. But yes, it is just Sags. He comes out alone without his entrance gear. Both teams.
But he's rocking that mohawk mullet, though, right?
Oh yeah, the Nasty Boys haircut. That is just epic. Both teams, I might add, get all the pyro. Just all of it. Just tons of freaking pyro.
Pyro for the Nasty Boys.
Yep. Well, Sherri looks into the camera and says, "Nasty Boys, this is it. Like it or not. Like it or not, this is it." So, whatever. I guess she was the Zodiac before the Zodiac.
Is it.
Like it or not. The crowd is...
Don't jump ahead.
Yeah. The crowd is actually really into the Nasty Boys, which I underestimated their overness in 95, I guess.
Well, legend has it they came out of a box, so...
Oh my god. Why is that the third mention of that? Sherri gets on the apron and Jerry Sags just punches her right across the face, dropping her to the floor. I was like, what the hell?
Right there shows you the contrast between WWE and WCW.
Yep. They're like, whatever, hit a woman, who cares? But she's up about...
I heard Sherri could legitimately kick a lot of guys' asses, though, so...
Yeah, well, I'm sure she could. She was attractive, but my God, I'm sure she could just knock somebody silly. But anyway, she gets right up 30 seconds later, perfectly fine. Nothing wrong.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, Sherri pulls Sags off of the cover. He chases her around, and the referee tries to stop him. He shoves the referee away, and Stevie Ray cuts him off. Later, Stevie effing Ray. Later on...
War Games 98.
Later on, Sherri slaps him. Then Booker holds Sags, and Sherri slaps him again. At one point, Sags reaches for a tag for a long, long time, looking confused, like, where's my partner? Even though he's never been there. So what the hell was he reaching for?
He's in the back helping Hogan get his bags out of his car.
Oh my God. Holy crap, you've buried him. You've buried everybody in this match so far. Well, okay, I buried Stevie Ray, so I'll take credit for that.
I like Booker. I'm not going to say a word about Booker, but...
He's the only one who hasn't been buried so far. He's the one. Oh, my gosh. That might be coming, though.
Oh, let's see. The Nasty Boy, Stevie Ray, and a Hall of Famer. It's not hard to pick one.
Right? And Mullet the referee. Stevie Ray tries to do a flying leg drop off of the bottom rope, making it look super difficult. That's how bad he sucks. He's trying to get up on the bottom rope, and he looks like he's struggling. But he jumps off for this leg drop. He lands on one foot, and then he drops a leg. So, what was the point? Gosh, Stevie Ray sucked. Oh, he didn't get over. He sucked. I've forgotten.
Pretty bad when you're in a match with the Nasty Boys and You're the worst one in the ring.
Yeah. I honestly forgot how bad he was until, I go back and watch this stuff. Well, Jerry Sags nails a pile driver on Booker T, and then Brian Knobbs hobbles to the ring with his arm taped up and tape wrapped around his stomach, but it is over his shirt.
How big was Hulk's bag?
That was a lot of weed, man. He's his weed carrier. Him and Jimmy Hart, man. But Jimmy had one handful with his megaphone, so he could only carry the one bag. Brian had to get the other ones, man. But this is the funniest part. His quote ribs were taped up over his T-shirt.
Oh my god! Quick, throw it on over the shirt. I show my belly, and we gotta sell the injury.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Literally, no one wants to see that dude shirtless. But, come on, what? Just kills the illusion, the stupid illusion as it is. And according to, I don't know if you listened to Eric Bischoff's latest podcast, but apparently there are some naked photos of all people, Brian Knobbs floating around the internet. So,
wow,
beware.
The first couple of questions is, number one, who took these pics?
Himself.
Number two, who the hell wants to see these pics? Number three,
apparently
who leaked
Conrad.
these pics?
I would assume the answer to questions 1 and 3 were Brian Knobbs himself.
Okay.
I don't know. Oh gosh. Yeah, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Anyway. The crowd goes nuts for frickin' Brian Knobbs, which just, again, blew my mind. But he tags in. He backs up to the ropes and has to tell Stevie Ray, come on, multiple times before Stevie rushes in and he takes an ugly backdrop over the top rope onto the steps. He sucks. This is actually in my notes where I wrote Stevie Ray freaking sucks. Ryan sees Sherry trying to come off of the top with her heel, like she always does. Sherry dives, Brian catches her, and he hits a huge spine buster on her ass. This is the second time we see man-on-woman violence in this match.
Are we sure Russo wasn't booking?
Maybe. I don't know. But he then picks Sherry up and just tosses her out of the ring on top of Stevie Ray. Just chucks her ass. Knobbs then nails Booker with a power slam, tags in Sags. Sags makes the pin for the win. Brian Knobbs then cuts a promo to the camera after the match, but the director doesn't take the shot. But they've got it mic'd up. However, we don't need the mic because Brian Knobbs' voice could have woken the dead. He is the loudest man ever. But then, of all people, it's going to get better, Greg, because the Blue Bloods come out, and they just kind of
hell yeah,
and they just kind of shake their heads in disgust, and then they leave. For those of you that don't know, this iteration of the Blue Bloods was William Regal and Sir Earl of Eaton, or Bobby Sir Earl of Eaton.
The Earl of Eaton.
Yeah, there you go. It was Bobby Eaton, pretending to be British. So the Alabama boy. I'm excited for the Nasty Boys versus them. Don't get me wrong, they are great workers, but what the hell? They're going to get saddled with the Nasty Boys. My conclusion...
It's the prospect.
Yeah. My conclusion, I said, another pretty good outing for these teams. Stevie Ray really sucks. 1.5 Uncle Daves.
Oh.
Yeah, this was probably their worst match out of all of them, but in their defense, half of the match was a handicap match. So there's that. The Nasty Boys then get interviewed by Eric Bischoff, who is wearing glasses now. I'm not sure why Bischoff is holding a microphone, because the Nasty Boys are loud enough to be heard in the next state. I didn't write down a damn thing they said, because I had to turn my volume down as low as it could go. Either way. Well, we go to the backstage with Mean Gene. We get our first Mean Gene sighting of the night, man. He's backstage with Kevin Sullivan, who sounds loony as hell.
He didn't talk about the hotline?
No, not this time. He was talking with Kevy Sullivan. But yeah, Sullivan keeps asking Mean Gene if he feels cold. And Sullivan and he keeps saying, "Oh, it's not cold back here. It's like 80 degrees. I'm sweating. What are you talking about?" Then Sullivan claims that he hasn't slept in the past 5 days, and he keeps calling Ed Leslie Butcher or Man with No Name. So he can't remember that he's the Man with No Name. He keeps calling him the Butcher and then remembering, oh, wait, he's the Man with No Name. He then says he's weak because he still believes in Hulkamania. That's Butcher. He then tells Mean Gene something is wrong with him if he thinks that it's not cold in there. And Mean Gene says that he turns to leave and he says, "You're walking towards the men's room. You want to go the other way." And he has it turn around. Oh, this was bad. It was weird. It was freaking Kevin Sullivan was loony as he was nuttier than squirrel crap, man. Either way. Are you strapped in for this one, Greg? It's the Man with No Name versus Kevin Sullivan.
Why wouldn't I?
Well, you should. I wrote this down. The Man with No Name is oddly in much better shape now than he was when he main evented Starrcade.
Real thing.
Yeah. Well, and it's a real thing that, main eventing Starrcade, whatever, I'll be a little pudgy. But wait, I'm facing Kevin Sullivan, the second match of the night at Slamboree. Man, gotta hit ab day. Like, what the hell? Kevin Sullivan's theme sounds like a precursor to Scott Steiner's theme. You ever notice that? It's just a bunch of sirens.
No, I didn't actually.
Yeah, go back and listen to it. It just, like, for the first couple seconds, it's only sirens, and then some, like, rock music kicks in under the sirens, but still, it's just like sirens through the whole thing. The Man with No Name beats the tar out of Sullivan for the longest time, punching and choking him. He locks in a sleeper hold, but Sullivan pretty easily breaks it with a sit-out jawbreaker, which makes you wonder why not everybody does that. The camera work on these shows is just horrible. I don't know why I wrote that, but they obviously took a bad shot at this point. There was a lot of camera shaking, too. Like, they would, normally when somebody's moving, you're like, oh, take camera, whatever, this guy's getting into place. Nope, let's just follow him and let the camera shake all over. Morons. Man with No Name hits a pile driver, making this 2 matches in a row with pile drivers used. Bischoff says, "You know what happens when you cut the head off of a snake?" And Heenan says, "Yeah, it becomes a belt." I loved it. Sullivan starts coming in to take a clothesline and decided not to and just stops in his tracks, making the Man with No Name more or less punch him in the wrist, or punch him with his wrist. But he still falls down. It was so bad. Man with No Name misses a corner splash, smacking his face on the post, allegedly. Sullivan then drops him and hits a jumping double stomp for the win. And then, after the match, you know what's coming, Greg. On the Tron, we see the first appearance of a fat gray guy sitting on a throne covered in cobwebs. What was his name? I know he's King Iakea, but what was his actual name here in this gimmick? The Master?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. But we don't know yet. Nobody knows who he is, which there's somebody else that happens with later on.
We just spoiled it.
Yeah, well... Oh, yeah, sorry, spoilers for something that happened over 20 years ago. My bad.
It's okay.
But anyway, he shouts really loudly about how Hulkamania is growing, and Sullivan just takes off through the crowd looking scared. And then the fat guy yells, "Sullivan, come forth, my son." And I'm like, this was like a drug-induced fever dream. I don't know what the hell was going on. And this wasn't even the worst of these segments involving this guy. We'll get to that. I found out.
Will we? Will we really?
I found out most of those wacky segments happened on Clash of the Champions, like in between pay-per-views. And for all of you out there, no, I will not go back and watch them. So if you want to see them, do it yourself.
I probably already have.
Well, maybe you can fill in some of the gaps between these pay-per-views, Greg. But after that, real quick, conclusion, I said this one ended awfully suddenly. It was just a big brawl. I gave it 1.5 Uncle Dave's. Nothing special. But, everything involving Ed Leslie is great. So I don't know what I was thinking.
I sense sarcasm there.
No, never. This is what we've been waiting for, Greg. Go back to Mean Gene backstage, who is interviewing Jimmy Hart, who looks like a cartoon character yet again, Hulk Hogan, and the Macho Man.
Oh, God.
They're apparently, by the way, known as
Here it comes.
They're apparently known as the Monster Maniacs now. I don't know why.
Because that sounds epic.
I guess. Where does Monster come in? Is this setting up for the Monster Truck match? Oh, sorry, spoilers. Now in the archives on YouTube. But, Hulk says that they're late because Macho Man was dog paddling from Clearwater Beach and his daddy, Angelo Poffo, was doing the backstroke, brother. What? Which is where I got that crap from for the opening. He then says that their opponents won't make it out of the building alive tonight, so he's essentially saying they're going to murder them in the ring. That's nice. Macho then says that on his swim over, he saw sharks, man-o'-wars, red tides, and submarines. Continuing on with this drug-fueled promo, they just did all the blow before this. He then puts over his father being inducted into the WCW Hall of Fame. Hulk then talks about getting a new vein in his to pop out in his python. And he says that he feels like a 747 coming in for a crash landing in his hometown. I don't know if anybody told Hulk this, but that's not a good thing when a plane crash lands. So, whatever. He then says that their opponents have no idea how many Slim Jims Randy had to snap into so far, and he asks to smell his breath. And then Macho blows into his face, and Hogan looks like he's about to pass out.
Oh, man.
All the blow. Just all the drugs. That's all of them. And then Hogan says that they're going to deposit their opponents into the Gulf of Mexico, brother. Holy crap, this sucked. I'm sorry. This whole thing, man. What were they smoking? Or injecting? Whatever.
The good puff.
Yeah, they were smoking the good puff, man. Real bros. They then switched to Angelo Poffo, talking about how he's honored to be inducted into the WCW Hall of Fame and to see his son wrestle tonight. Yeah, the illustrious WCW Hall of Fame that lasted for a whole 4 or 5 years. Oh, I'm sorry, 6 or 7 years. My bad. We then go to, I know this is your favorite match of the night, Greg. It was Dirty Dick Murdoch. That's right, I said Dirty Dick.
I'm already sold.
Versus Chief Wahoo McDaniel, excuse me, no S, in a Legends match, which means that they come out to no music and everything is in black and white. Kind of threw me off at first.
And this is 1995, by the way.
Yep. Think about this. This is, May, so January, February, March, April. Okay, so about, within 5 months, Dick Murdoch was on pay-per-view for 2 of the biggest companies in the world. Think about it, in 95.
Everyone wanted him.
Oh, yeah, he was a hot commodity, man. Everybody wanted Dirty Dick. You're going to leave that one alone. The audio of the commentators seems kind of crappy and sounds really old. I don't know if that was on purpose or if they just had really bad mics. Bobby Heenan introduces his new commentary partner for this match, Gordon Silly, because everybody wants to hear Gordon Silly talk about a suplex.
I think this was his last ever event.
Perhaps, I don't know. God rest his soul.
Well, yeah, he leaves over not wanting Poffo in the Hall of Fame, I guess, or something like that.
What?
Yeah.
It's really weird. That's, all right then. Well, either way, he missed his chance, man. He could have been on that awesome Legends of Wrestling show. He was advertised for it. Or Heroes of Wrestling, excuse me.
Now available in the archive.
On YouTube. Go search for it. You may or may not regret it. Heenan keeps trying to be funny, and Sully just doesn't even know what to make of him. He's just like, yeah, anyway, back to the action. Like, wow. He was like the ultimate straight guy. Both wrestlers come out to no music looking old and fat. They, sorry, they do. They zoom in on Wahoo's face, and he looks like he's about 1,000,000 years old. Wahoo hits a big front chop on Murdoch, and Murdoch vibrates down to his ass. Murdoch then gets uppercutted down. He stands up and then slowly slides back down to his ass. I don't know why he just keeps sitting down. Murdoch is bleeding from the nose at one point from getting his face slammed into the buckle so hard. Murdoch takes control. Wahoo gets the advantage back with an Irish whip into a big knife-edge chop. He pins Dick for the win. Murdoch kicks out at like 3.2. Conclusion, these two old-timers beat the hell out of each other. They were slow but tough as nails. Anticlimactic finish to Uncle Dave's. What do you think of it?
I wish I never saw it.
Wow, I didn't think it was that damn bad. Good Lord. We've seen much worse.
Yeah, but not many.
Wow. Now to the back. Mean Gene Okerlund is interviewing Big Bubba Rogers. Bubba's right hand is all taped up for some reason. He cuts a pretty good promo about how he's already made people lose faith in Sting, and he's going to beat him at 2 pay-per-views in a row. Yes, he beat Sting on pay-per-view at Uncensored. Think about that. That was a real thing. But now we go into one of the better matches of the night, in my opinion. It was the Great Muta defending the IWGP Heavyweight title against, and I'm not, this is real, against Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. In 1995, I can't stress that enough, a ton of pyro goes off from Muta, because apparently WCW and WWF were in a contest to see how much money they could both waste on pyro.
And on guys who didn't need it.
Right. Muta basically did Sting's WrestleMania 31 entrance, where they had like the Japanese drummers like up on the stage, which I was like flinching when the pyro was going off because the pyro was loud and there was a ton of it, and it was going off right next to these damn drummers. I'm like, are they dead now? Like, what's going on? They just blew up. They just blew up a bunch of Japanese drummers on the stage. Nobody blinked an eye. The IWGP title back then was not very impressive looking. It was very small. It looked like he had like a penny on a belt. A ton of Japanese fans, by the way, were shown cheering in the crowd. I guess they heard that the title was on the line tonight. And apparently they all decided to sit together. When Orndorff came out, by the way, because I didn't know who the opponent was. They didn't say until he came out. When Orndorff came out, I scratched my head in confusion. I was like, the hell is going... Like, really? Paul freaking Orndorff? Okay.
Mr. freaking Wonderful.
Yep. Of course, Nick Patrick is in this match, and what a mullet he's got going on with a porno stash.
Hell yeah.
Paul gets in Nick Patrick's face, and then Patrick backs him up and starts yelling at him, making him look like a total dork. Like, he just looks like a freaking wimp when the referee just backs him down like that, and he just cowers in fear. I was like, okay. There's a weird spot in the match. But anyway, Paul is in really great shape here in 95, except it is very obvious that his right arm is shrinking. It's not good, man. But Muta looks like he's campaigning for a job, looking great, is doing really good in the match. Bischoff is geeking out over Muta on commentary, man. He loves him some Japanese wrestlers, man, almost as much as Uncle Dave. The worst part of the match, it was like an over 1 minute long chin lock from Orndorff to Muta. Like, it was a chin lock that just wouldn't end. After a couple more moves, Orndorff then locks in a front face lock that lasts for over a minute again. Muta finally gets to win after a rib breaker into a very impressive looking moonsault. Conclusion, nice contrast of styles. Both men worked really hard. Dragged a bit at times. I gave it 2.5 Uncle Daves. So, about average. But then we go back to this team backstage. Mean Gene Okerlund in the back is interviewing Arn Anderson. while Vader walks around with rubber bands in his hand, like those kind that you work out with. And Vader's just like making noises and growling like a weirdo. Ric Flair is in like a full suit and sunglasses. Arn and Rick do their thing on the mic. And then after Flair shouts, "Woo!" then Vader leans in and goes, "Woo!" It was weird.
Money.
Oh, yeah. But then Vader tells Hulk Hogan that he's the biggest, most powerful, and most dangerous wrestler in the world today. And he says his arms are python eaters. He has like I never noticed, like, as a kid, he's got like, I mean, it's cool, but he's got like a weird accent when he cuts his promos. You notice that?
Yeah, thick, I'm looking for the word.
I don't even know what accent that is. He's like, "Oh, yeah, these are python eaters. Yeah." I'm like, the hell is that?
It sounds like one of the Voice of South Park guys do to mock people.
Yeah, basically. They took our herbs. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. That's Colonel Robert Fuller. Anyway, then they then show Terry Funk backstage saying that he doesn't think that he's a legend compared to a lot of great wrestlers of the past, and he puts over everybody who's not there that night, and then basically talks about how he doesn't think he's all that impressive. Like, dude, just shut up and accept your award. We then go to this. It was Arn Anderson defending the TV title against Alex Wright.
Hell yeah.
The Alex Wright. I did write, I said Alex Wright was really good and actually pretty popular, but he got saddled with a horse crap gimmick. It was bad. He could have done so much more. He was very talented. I don't know if he could cut a promo to save his life, but I don't know.
He could in German.
Oh, yeah. Freaking Heenan kept making German comments about him all night. It was like, oh, he doesn't speak English. And Bischoff was like, yes, he does. These two battle through a headlock from Wright for quite a while. There then was a couple of seconds of action, and then back to a headlock. There was then about another 30 seconds of action, and then back to a headlock. There was then about 15 seconds of action, and another headlock. This one eventually gets stood up into a cravat, so that was different. There's some more action for a few seconds, and then Wright grabs Anderson's into an STF for a good full effing minute. Finally, they battle outside of the ring, and it's pretty interesting outside of the ring for, what it's worth. They then must have decided this was way too much good stuff, because then they go back into the ring and Wright works the left arm, transitioning from knees into a Fujiwara armbar. And this goes on forever. I grew a beard watching this. Arn later hits a double-A spine buster, but he can't capitalize for a pin. He goes to work on Wright, picking him apart piece by piece. Commentary talks about how Wright could be put in the hospital, and Bobby Heenan says that he'll have to eat sauerkraut through a straw.
What the hell?
I freaking popped for that one. Wright then fights back for a few seconds. Arn cuts him off, hits a DDT, wins. That's the end of it. My conclusion, I said, a lot of this match was a boring battle of headlocks. Nothing was terrible, but it dragged a bunch. Two Uncle Daves. It's just headlock after headlock. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, like, was Arn tired that night? He was just like, F it. Just put me in a rest hole, kid. Then we go to the most random ass match of the night. It was Meng with Colonel Robert Parker versus, of all people, Road Warrior Hawk. Okay. Eric Bischoff says, and I quote, that this could be a main event anywhere on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
I don't.
Wow.
I don't think.
What earth?
I don't think he was being like ironic with this or sarcastic. I think he was being serious, and I don't know what kind of drugs they had up in that booth, but he was doing them all.
The good puff. We told you this.
I wrote, this was a battle of the bad hairdos. A long-ass curly mullet for Meng, and the double mohawk for Hawk. Meng starts by beating the piss out of Hawk for a while. He pile drives Hawk, making it another one. And then Hawk stands right up, just no-selling it completely after getting dropped on his head. He hits a hangman's neck breaker. Meng stands straight up for that one, no-selling it. Hawk then runs into the ring post and flops the outside. Meng kicks him once, and then Parker kicks on him a few times. Meng throws Hawk face first into another ring post before Hawk rolls in to break the count. Meng hits a rib breaker for a 2 count. Hawk gets up and hits multiple big boots in a row, not dropping Meng. Meng gets the advantage. Hawk cuts him off and then gets in control. The two battle outside of the ring, and it's a double count out, meaning this damn thing isn't over. And I wrote, the locker room unloads with all the mullets, and they all hold him back.
I remember that.
There were about 20 effing mullets out there. I was watching this going, my God, Greg is going to have he's going to pop a stiffy when seeing this.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many mullets in one place in my life outside of a Garth Brooks concert. This was mullet heaven. Why was that a thing? Again, in WCW 1995, why was, everybody had a mullet? Everyone. Man.
Just because.
I guess. We then see Gordon Sully on the stage. He introduces the WCW Hall of Fame inductees. They all get a weird-looking trophy and some flowers. So, there's that. Comments don't go longer than 30 seconds for each guy. The inductees are Chief Wahoo McDaniels, Terry Funk, Angelo Poffo, Antonio Inoki, Big John Studd gets inducted posthumously, and Dusty Rhodes. Dusty comes out with his daughter and little Cody. Oh, little Cody. Gordon isn't aware that Dusty is going to do this, but Dusty announces that Gordon Sully is a surprise inductee into the WCW Hall of Fame. Gordon seems touched, and he thanks everyone. It was actually a pretty decent segment. Took forever, but compared to the Hall of Fame inductions we see nowadays, this was light speed. We then go to the back. Mean Gene Okerlund is backstage with Sting. Sting gives a very loud, shouty promo, looking like an orange and blue highlighter. He was very bright. This next match, you're going to have to explain this to me, Greg. I mean, I figured out that it's just a no disqualification match, but it's Big Bubba Rogers versus Sting in what they call a lights out match. The hell is that?
I don't know.
I thought that the lights would go out every now and then or something, but no, it's just a hardcore match.
Oh, I think it's got to win by knockout, right?
No, this match ends with a pin.
I forget this part.
It's weird. I don't know. Sting carries a table to the ring over his head, just tosses it in the ring. The taunting and circling at the beginning of this match goes on for over 2 minutes, and I may be lowballing it. This was dumb. After the battle of the headlocks we saw before this, I was bored. At one point, Bubba takes off his tie and chokes Sting with it. Sting gets out of the ring, he gets out of it and he nails a standing drop kick. They go back to taunting forever. Sting goes to put Bubba through the table, but Bubba threw powder in Sting's face and he drops him in the ring. They set up the table in the corner, and Sting misses a splash onto it, but it doesn't break. That table was not gimmicked at all, and it looked thick as hell. Bubba then whips him with his belt. He takes off his belt and literally starts whipping the hell out of Sting with it. Later on, Sting gets Bubba down, puts the table on top of him, and he does a jumping double stomp onto it. Oh, I'm sorry, it does not end with a pin. He locks him in a Scorpion Deathlock, and Big Bubba taps out. The end of the match. So I don't know what lights out means. I guess that's their fancy way of saying no holds barred. I don't know.
Yeah, throw a new tag on there. It'll sell.
My question is, why didn't this match happen the month before at Uncensored?
Who cares?
It's just not that it would have made it better, but it's a gimmick match.
It might have. I mean, may have been anywhere in the country.
No, that was the match before with Haku and Hawk. Or, excuse me, Meng and Hawk. Conclusion, WCW really needed to gimmick that table. That thing wouldn't have broke for nothing. These two worked pretty well together, again. Big Bubba can be seen in the wide shot. because right before they send it like to the next thing, they show a wide shot, and Big Bubba's like posing in the corner for the crowd after he just got beat. That was kind of funny. I gave this 2 3/4 Uncle Dave's. It was a pretty decent match, actually. Then we go to the main event of the night. It was Ric Flair and Vader with Arn Anderson versus the Monster Maniacs, which is Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage. They are with Jimmy Hart and somebody else that we'll get to here in a moment. Flair and Vader get some pretty good pyro, but Hulk and Macho get all the pyro. Like, all of it. To the point of where you can't even hear Michael Buffer. During their entrances, the Giant comes out but through the pyro, and he just kind of stands there on the stage. Then he's quickly pushed to the back. Everyone looks super confused, and Eric Bischoff keeps going on about, who is that? Look at the size of that guy. He's humongous. And then Bobby Heenan says, they grow them big here in Florida.
Clever.
Yeah. Flair, Anderson, and Vader were about to attack Hogan and Macho, but then the Renegade runs in, and all the heels just bail out of the ring because we needed the Renegade. Good Lord. How did they get away with this, by the way? Just how?
I don't know. I think most of the time, if you go back and look, most of the things were based on names. The only thing was like Scott Hall's accent. It's the only thing.
Yeah, but it's like he had face paint, he had the Warrior's hair, he had the Warrior's movements. He like
right, but none of that was probably trademark. I assume just a name. So
yeah, it's just weird. Hogan and Vader start slowly. Also, Angelo Poffo is seen in the front row, and Jimmy Hart keeps making that damn bullhorn shriek. You know that little siren that you can make with the bullhorn? He does that. He does that for like 10 minutes. I don't know which is more annoying, that or Fonzie with the damn whistle. But anyway, yeah, Hogan and Vader are slow as hell to start this match. They keep trying their test of strength crap. Vader keeps flexing. Finally, Vader puts him in the corner, and he's clearly pulling his punches because they have like the camera right on him when he's quote-unquote punching Hogan in the corner. He's not anywhere close to Hogan's head. But then Hogan reverses it and starts punching him, and Vader randomly rips his mask off. Keep in mind, we're like a minute into this match, and he rips his mask off, never to put it back on. I'm like, what's the point of the mask, Vader? Vader gets double teamed, but he drops Hogan and Macho with a double clothesline. Macho and Flair are in the ring together next, and Macho just cleans Flair's clock. Flair comes back, and Macho eventually gets the upper hand and tags in Hogan, who then proceeds to abuse the hell out of Ric Flair. Again, Flair fights back only for a moment before Hogan fights back. He locks Flair in the figure 4. Then Arn Anderson runs in, and while Hogan has Flair in the figure 4, he rolls Anderson up into a pin. Weird. Finally, Flair gets the upper hand, and he tags in Vader. Flair goes outside and pelvic thrusts to a poor, unfortunate girl in the front row like a creeper. And this comes right after you said he basically said he was going to rape some kid's mom in a pay-per-view.
Yep.
Oh, man. Flair was creepy back in the day. Well, he still kind of is. The Giant then walks out on the stage again, wearing sunglasses, slacks, and a vest. He's wringing his hands, then he just turns around and leaves. Nothing happens. If we just see him, and then that's it. Vader hits a suplex on Hogan, and Hogan no-sells it, stands straight up. Vader then runs right through him. Randy Anderson, who is the referee, there's another mullet, tries to separate Macho Man and Vader, and then Vader just shoves him down. But then Randy is right up and fine. If that was a WWF referee, he'd be dead for the next 10 minutes.
Yep.
Vader nails a Vader splash on Hogan, and then he goes up for one off of the top rope, which I've never seen him do before, but Hogan rolls away. Vader tags into Flair, and Hogan tags into Savage. Savage starts abusing the hell out of Flair again. Flair just gets his crap kicked in this match. But then he goes after Vader, and Flair back elbows him in the face. Savage gets the advantage back by throwing Flair off the top rope and then hitting the flying elbow drop. Behind the referee's back, Arn Anderson pulls Savage outside. Vader takes Savage out, and then Renegade takes Anderson down. Because we need more Renegade. Vader nails the Vader salt on Macho Man. Macho looks like he about died. And Hogan breaks the count by pulling on Vader's ass. Not joking. Go back and watch. Macho Man doesn't sell the moonsault very much. He kind of gets up on all fours and is like, I'm okay. Even though he had a 400-pound man land on him. But Vader beats him up anyway. Flair gets tagged in. He goes back and forth with Savage. Finally, Savage makes a tag so that to Hulk and runs wild on Flair. Vader comes in, gets body slammed. The crowd goes wild. Anderson then gets knocked off the apron by Hogan. Hogan goes for the leg drop, but Anderson trips him, and Renegade chases him around the ring because we got to get the Benny Hill spot in. Vader splashes Hogan, and Macho breaks the count at 2. Vader and Macho fight outside for a while. While Hulk hulks up. Flair manages to hold Hulk's arms back, and here we go. Anderson goes up top with an axe handle, and it's coming. Hogan moves, and oh no, Arn hits Flair. Because we've never seen this. We don't know what's coming. Hogan then hits the leg drop, gets the win. And then here's where things start to get fun, Greg. A ton of pyro goes off because why the F not? And then Anderson and Flair attack them all, throwing Jimmy Hart outside. Angelo Poffo gets in the ring to stop them, but Arn holds his arms back and Rick just punches the crap out of him repeatedly before dropping him, and he locks in the figure 4. They keep mentioning that Angelo is like 70 years old. Hogan and Renegade finally rush in the ring and chase him off before chase off Flair and Anderson. Macho Man looks like he's about to cry while he's helping his dad out, and he yells for someone to call an ambulance. It's a little odd to see everyone acting so concerned over Angelo while they're playing the theme of the event over them as they're closing out because it's some upbeat 90s easy rock tune. Meanwhile, everybody's trying to be like all concerned. But my final conclusions of this match was pretty good match, actually. I enjoyed it. However, Flair got the piss beat out of him. Eric Bischoff's commentary for the night was not terrible, in my opinion. I noticed his favorite line to Bobby Heenan all night was, "You're out of your mind." He said it about 500 times. 3 Uncle Daves for this match. What do you think of it?
It got really long.
Yeah.
Really boring.
I was into it for the most part, but yeah, it was a little long. WCW loved their long-ass matches, I'll say that. Well, what's coming up next, Greg? For
King of the Ring.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and I think the Great American Bash.
Yes. That's right. You're correct. I forgot about that. Yeah, so that was this episode here. I went a little long, but there was a lot of silliness. Next time, I've never seen these. Well, I think I've seen King of the Ring. I've never seen Great American Bash 95. So the main event looks decent. The second main event, meh. And of course, we're going to get the Nasty Boys versus the Blue Bloods, so that'll be great. And the Renegade versus Arn Anderson. Oh, happy day. Holy crap. We get a Dave Sullivan sighting again. Yes, my dreams have come true. And then Jim Duggan versus someone named...
Stay tuned.
Jim Duggan versus someone named Sergeant Craig Pittman.
Yeah.
Oh.
They had a couple of Army gimmicks back then.
Yeah. Need more. More content. But yeah, so next week, Greg and I will be coming at you with Great American Bash 1995. And of course, the illustrious King of the Ring 1995, where, well, we've kind of already spoiled who wins the whole damn thing, but a certain very large XXXL King takes his throne. Get ready for the reign of the man on the mission. It's going to be really bad, Greg. I'm not looking forward to this one, I gotta say. I think they actually took it a little easy on me with these pay-per-views compared to next week. Yay. Well, thanks for joining me, Greg.
Yeah.
You'd say it was fun, but it wasn't. All right, well,
no way.
We'll come at you next week. Like I said, Great American Bash 95 and King of the Ring 95. Peace out.
Later.
This has been a Drama City production.